Hey guys, so as some of you might know, I've been a really big fan of American Horror Story since day one of the show. Yeah, some seasons were better than others, but I've pretty much always managed to have some fun with the crazy scenarios and how they execute really familiar genre scare tactics and ideas that I know and love, while also taking some of them to brand new levels. I just watched the first episode of the new season, American Horror Story Cult, and I am hopeful that they can get there with this concept too, but I can't really say that episode 1, Election Night, hooked me as strongly as previous season openers. So first off, let's recap this thing. The season begins on November 8th, 2016. That's election night. Sarah Paulson's character Allie is heartbroken by and terrified of the election results, while Evan Peters' character Kai is beyond thrilled, screaming, "Fuck you, world," and the revolution has begun. From there, the show starts to dig a little deeper with the characters, letting us spend more time with Allie, her wife Ivy, and their young son Oz. They are a loving family, but it is abundantly clear that Allie has a lot of anxiety and fears, and those phobias, further triggered by the election results, are threatening both her family's happiness and their livelihood as well. Allie and Ivy co-own a restaurant, and Ivy isn't happy that Allie isn't moving on and doing her share of the job. On top of that, Allie is also deathly afraid of clowns, and her behavior is scaring both Ivy and Oz. Oz, when he reluctantly shows her a brutal comic featuring season 4's Twisty the Clown, and Ivy when she has to deal with the police after Allie claims she was attacked by a group of clowns in a local grocery store. On the other end of the spectrum, we have Kai walking around feeling as empowered as ever. He preaches his agenda at a hearing to approve overtime for sheriff's deputies to stand guard at a Jewish community center, with Kai arguing firmly against it. He casually throws his drink at Allie and Ivy in the street. He provokes a group of non-white men to attack him while he captures it all on camera. And he also manipulates Billy Lord's character, Winter. His interrogation of her is intercut with a scene of Winter being interviewed for a job to become Oz's new babysitter. It highlights her seemingly respectable background while also suggesting that Kai has dug his claws so deep, instantly putting Oz at risk there, and also suggesting that something bigger at work could be going on here. Sure enough, the episode culminates with a brutal attack on Allie and Ivy's neighbors, one of whom happened to be leading that hearing that Kai attended, and he was also the one who strongly refuted Kai's stance on the situation. After Winter convinces Oz to watch videos of people being murdered on the internet because it'll make him stronger, he spots an ice cream truck full of clown, mask-wearing home invaders breaking into the neighbors' homes. They go to investigate. Oz sees it all, and then apparently Winter wouldn't let him tell the police about it. When Winter talks privately to Allie and Ivy, she tells them he's just an imaginative kid and he made it all up, blaming the Twisty comic. After that, a semi-unconvincing Colton Hayes, playing a detective, tells them it looks like a murder-suicide. The episode then ends with a quick jump scare where Allie is laying in bed and rolls over to see one of the folks wearing a clown mask in bed with her. So that's the gist of it. I am intrigued, but I'm not as excited to learn more as I usually am. If I'm being completely honest, I do prefer my real-life politics separate from my TV entertainment. I'm not saying there is no place for shows to address timely matters, but thinking back about favorite seasons and favorite moments of AHS, I've always responded to crazy situations like a haunted house, like a coven, like a killer clown. They are outlandish, so I can have fun with them. But there was also just enough truth to make me care about the characters and truly fear for their lives. It's only been one episode of Cult, so maybe this season can still achieve that, and maybe it can achieve something new that past seasons couldn't. But one way or the other, if it's gonna incorporate a very controversial election that happened less than a year ago, I hope there's a purpose and maybe even a real value to doing that. At the moment, it isn't too hard, though, to separate the cult from the politics. Yes, I know they are connected in the story, but the way that episode 1 is structured, it does feel like two separate stories mashed into one. So, shifting over to the clown component, I do kind of love the visual of a whole bunch of creepy clowns hopping out of an ice cream truck in a quiet quiet suburban neighborhood. And I also really like some of the scares in the grocery store too. I did find Sarah Paulson's character a little frustrating though. I suspect it might have helped if I got to experience more happier times with Ivy, Allie, and Oz before almost every scene of Allie shows her in hysterics courtesy of all of her phobias. Performance-wise though, Paulson handles it really well. I've never seen her deliver anything but an exceptional performance in anything she's in. I was just growing a little frustrated with the character she was playing more than anything. And I had a similar reaction to Evan Peters too. His performance was great. His character, unsettling, and in a way that I'm not quite enjoying like I have with past American Horror Story villains or characters with darker agendas. The one thing that I suspect could wind up pulling me in are his manipulation tactics. I like the jump from seeing him interrogating Winter, her admitting that he scares her, and then pressuring Oz to watch those videos. It's signs of her being influenced by Kai and then spreading his methods and ideals. So I'm really curious to see where they're going to take that. Overall, though, not the strongest start, but I do see enough sparks here to suggest that Ryan Murphy and his team could really pull it off. But again, it's not easy to incorporate something so controversial and active right now and do it in an appropriate and positive way, both for the entertainment value and the engagement level of a show, a TV show, and for the general good of the real world. Because if you're going to address something like that, you do take on that very real responsibility as well. I'm rooting for them. I want to get attached to these characters. I want to understand what makes them tick on a deeper level, and I really want to see everything they started introducing in this episode come together real well. So that is what I thought. This is what my mom thought. And now I want to know what you think of election night. Tell me about it in the comment section below. I am so excited to do a full season of American Horror Story, recaps and reviews for you. Also, before we close out, I want to give a very special Patreon shout out to supporter Scuba Steve. I've seen Scuba Steve around the internets for a good while now, and Scuba Steve, really, thank you so much for your continued support. You serve the Scuba Squad well. If you would like to join in on all this Patreon fun, the link is in the description section of this video. So, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week with a review and recap of American Horror Story Cult Episode 2.